Welcome everyone. Welcome to the lecture series on VLSI and microelectronics. It is a subject in 7th semester BTech ECE. The course code is EC702. I am Paulusri Dhar, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, Guru Nanak Institute of Technology. So in this lecture series, today we are going to start lecture number 4. So this lecture, that is lecture number 4, of this subject VLSI and microelectronics, it has got 45 number of total lectures and the credit is 4 and the total contact hours is 3 lectures plus 1 tutorial per week. So we are presently in module number 1, that is introduction to ICs. So in module 1 we are going to study ICs, that is integrated circuits, advantages, disadvantages, limitations, scale of integration. In scale of integration, we will study SSI, then MSI, LSI, VLSI, ULSI, Moore's law, scaling of MOSFET, constant field scaling, and constant voltage scaling, short channel effects, VLSI design flow, Y chart, IC classification, standard IC, and ASIC, PAL, PLA, and FPGA architecture. So in this particular slide, we will see which course outcome will be fulfilled after the completion of lecture number 4. So let us see the course outcomes of this particular course, VLSI and microelectronics. The course outcome are very important because the course outcomes will be fulfilled after the completion of this particular course, VLSI and microelectronics. So let us start the first course outcome. The first one is able to describe scale of integration, SSI, MSI, LSI, VLSI, Moore's law, scaling, short channel effect, VLSI, flow, architecture, and contact gate level circuits with PAL and PLA concept. Next course outcome is able to analyze CMOS inverter voltage transfer characteristics using the parameters VIL, VIH, VOL, VOH, VTH based on the knowledge of digital circuit design methodology like CMOS, pass transistor, TG, DCVSL, dynamic logic, NODA, able to construct schematic of combinational sequential circuit, SRAM, DRAM using MOSFET. Third is based on the fundamental concept of MOSFET characteristics and model, able to calculate value of the resistance of current sources, MOS diode, current mirror circuit, voltage of references such as the voltage dividers, threshold voltage and band gap, then emulate resistance of switch capacitor circuit, gain of switch capacitor integrator, and first order switch capacitor filter. The third course outcome is, with the help of the MOS transistor model, able to calculate the value of the parameters to design CMOS differential amplifier and two-stage op-amp. Fifth one is able to describe fabrication steps of the ICs and construct stick diagram and layout of the CMOS inverter and basic gates based on the lambda and micron design rules. Sixth is able to calculate gate delay, dynamic power, short circuit power, and leakage power and total power consumption across CMOS inverter circuit based on the derived expression of delay and power. So these were the 6 course outcomes of this particular course, VLSI and microelectronics. Now we will see which course outcome will be fulfilled after the completion of lecture number 4. That is the first course outcome, that is able to describe scale of integration, SSI, MSI, LSI, VLSI, Moore's law, scaling, short channel effect, VLSI design flow and architecture, and also contact gate level circuit with PAL and PLA concept. As you can see here that this course outcome is broadened and also it is in red color. So it signifies that this course outcome will be fulfilled after the completion of this particular lecture, that is lecture number 4. So let us go to the next slide. So this particular slide is the lecture plan or the lesson plan of this particular lecture, lecture number 4. So our course name is VLSI and Microelectronics and the paper code is EC702. So we are in module number 1, that is Introduction to IC. So today we are going to study short channel effects, small geometry effects, channel length modulation, threshold voltage lowering, punch through and sub-threshold conduction. That is mainly the short channel effects in case of the MOS or the MOSFET transistor. So let us start lecture number 4. So before starting lecture number 4, let us have a quick recap of the previous lectures already we have studied. In the first lecture, we have seen the overviews of the course outcome and also the syllabus, that is why we are studying the VLSI subject and how it is being related to the electronics subject and also all the applications of the VLSI subject. That is, it has got huge applications in telecommunication, in communication, in analog electronics, in digital electronics. Like all this we have studied in the first lecture. The next lectures followed the ICs, that is the brief description about the ICs, that is the indicator circuits, like the advantages, disadvantages of the ICs, then the brief overview of the ICs, that is the definition of the ICs, then the scale of the integration like the SSI, then MSI, then LSI, that is large scale integration, and VLSI, that is very large scale integration, and ULSI, ultra scale integration. Next is a very important law we have studied in VLSI subject, that is the Moore's law. That is how the number of the transistors going day by day, or that is increasing in exponential order according to the Moore's law. Next is the scaling of the MOSFET transistors. In the scaling of the MOSFET transistors, we have studied about the constant field scaling and the constant voltage scaling. We have studied all the characteristics in which parameters are increasing or decreasing, in which order they are increasing or decreasing, we have seen. Next is we have studied the VLSI design flow. In the VLSI design flow, we have studied a very important thing, that is the Y chart. As you all know that Y chart is very important in VLSI and also it comes in the semester exams in short note or in the 5 marks question. So read it very minutely. So we will be starting the lecture 4 of this lecture series. So let us start the lecture number 4. That is small geometry effects. We will start our lecture with small geometry effects. Now, let us see what are small geometry effects. Due to scaling, the MOSFET dimensions are excessively strong. This has imposed the small geometry effects which introduce potential problems in device characteristics and modeling of these effects. These effects are classified into 2 types. That is short channel effects and narrow channel effects. So you can see that, as you know, there are 2 types of scaling, that is the constant field scaling and constant voltage scaling. According to these scalings or due to these scalings, the MOSFET dimension are becoming small day by day. So this is what this is imposed. This is imposed the small geometry effects, which also has introduced potential problems in the device characteristics and also in the modeling. So depending upon this, there are 2 types of small geometry effects. First is the short channel effects and second one is the narrow channel effects. So I hope this small geometry effects, that is short channel effects and narrow channel effects, are clear to all of you. Now we will have the brief discussions about the short channel effects and also the narrow channel effects in the later slides. So let us start the short channel effects. So the short channel effects. A MOSFET with a channel length comparable to the source drain junction depth is known as the short channel MOSFET. These short channel devices suffer from several issues that change the characteristics of the device. These issues are known as short channel effects, and also they are known as DSM, that is the deep submicron issues. So you can say the short channel effects are also known as DSM issues, that is the deep submicron issues, and this is very important that it is called DSM or the deep submicron issues. Now, short channel effects are of different types. So what are the types? First one is channel length modulation. Second is threshold voltage lowering. Third one is punch through. Fourth one is sub-threshold conduction. And the fifth one is velocity saturation. So in the later slides, we will study about the short channel effects, that is about the channel length modulation, then threshold voltage lowering, punch through, sub-threshold conduction, and the velocity saturation. So let us start with the channel length modulation. So let us see what is the channel length modulation. When the MOSFET operates under saturation region, the effective channel length of the MOSFET reduces by the amount of del L. So the effective channel length is given by the equation L dash is equal to L minus of delta of L. Here delta of L is the length of the pinch off region. Now the reduction in channel length del of L is a function of drain to source voltage VDS. For long MOSFET, the reduction in channel length is insignificant, and hence it can be ignored. But for short channel MOSFET, this reduction is significant compared to the physical channel length of the device. A MOSFET is called short channel MOSFET if its channel length is comparable to the source drain junction depth. Using the effective channel length L dash, the MOSFET current expression under the saturation region can be written as this one. ID saturation is equal to mu n mu n C of OX W by of 2 L dash into V of GS minus of VT square whole square. So this VGS is gate to source voltage. This one is the mobility. This one is the capacitance of the oxide. This is the width, and this one L dash is the effective channel length. So let us see. We will be putting this L dash. That is the equation L dash. We know what is L dash. L dash is equal to L minus of del of L. We will be putting this in this equation and we will be getting this one. So ID saturation is equal to mu n C of OX W by 2 of L minus of delta of L into VGS minus of VT square. So ID saturation will be equal to mu n C of OX omega W by of 2L into VGS minus of VT whole square into L by L minus of del of L. By substituting, we are getting this one. So from here, what we can write? ID saturation is equal to mu n C of OX W by of 2L into VGS minus of VT whole square into 1 minus of del L by L to the power of minus 1. Okay. Now we will see how we will be substituting it if we put del L much less than capital L. So let us see this one. Now I hope this particular slide is clear to all of you. Now let us move to the next slide and put some conditions and see how this expression of ID changes. Now we will put this condition. We know that small, that is delta of L, is much smaller than capital L. So we can write that ID set is equal to mu n C of OX into W by of 2 of L into VGS minus of VT whole square into 1 plus del L by L. We can write this. So I hope this is clear to all of you. Now you see that as del L is a function of VDS, we can say that ID saturation is equal to mu n C of OX W by of 2L into VGS minus of VT whole square into 1 plus lambda VDS. Here this lambda is an empirical model parameter and is known as the channel length modulation coefficient. Now, due to the channel length modulation, the saturated drain current slowly increases with VDS rather than being constant. This we came to know from this formula. Now, I hope this channel length modulation is clear to all of you. Now, let us move to the threshold voltage lowering. So, moving to the threshold voltage lowering, let us start. In the short channel MOSFET, the threshold voltage is reduced due to the increase in drain voltage. This phenomenon is known as the drain-induced barrier lowering, or in short, it is called DIBL. This DIBL phenomenon was first introduced by Trotman in 1979. While deriving the expression for the threshold voltage of the MOSFET, we have assumed that the entire channel depletion region charge is created by the applied gate voltage. But this is not true when the drain voltage is applied. Near the drain end and the depletion region, charge is created by the applied drain voltage. While the amount of gate voltage to be applied to create this depletion region is reduced, the threshold voltage is reduced with the increase in drain to source voltage. This phenomenon is present in long channel MOSFET as well, but this can be ignored. Why? Because as the amount of the depletion charge created by the drain voltage is insignificantly compared to the entire depletion region charge. However, it is insignificant in short channel MOSFET as a significant, and this is very significant in the short channel MOSFET as the significant portion of the depletion charge is created by the drain voltage. So I hope this threshold voltage lowering is also clear to all of you, and you can see that this phenomenon called the drain induced barrier lowering is present in long channel MOSFET as also. But this can be ignored. Why? Because the amount of the depletion charge created by the drain voltage is insignificant compared to the whole depletion region charge. But this is very significant in the short channel MOSFET. Why? Because a significant portion of the depletion charge is created by the drain voltage. So I hope this threshold voltage lowering is clear to all of you. So I'm very thankful to all of you for listening to me. Thank you all and hope we will meet soon. Thank you.